Welcome to LOTC Presents Black Glove Mysteries, where every other Friday we will take you on a journey through Italian cinema, specifically giallo, but we reserve the right to take the other avenues such as polizieschi, spaghetti westerns, Euro crime films. Either way, you will hear and now see us talk Italian cinema. This is episode 446, Double Double 71. I'm your host, Greg Mortis, along with Ian Lou Pagnelli. Irza, what's up, Ian?
You always did love violence.
Christopher Lee, brother. God, we're going to get into this movie. We're going to talk about this whip, but we are super excited. Welcome to the show. If you're new, I hope you will enjoy what you're fixing to see. I hope you will subscribe to this channel. That would mean a lot to Ian and I. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe. But we'll be talking Italian cinema tonight. Specifically, we're looking at Mario Bava tonight. And I have one of them. Ian has the other. And Ian has the whip in the body. That's the Kino release. And I have the Mario Bava Kill Baby Kill, part of the Scream Factory set that just came out. So those are the movies we're going to be talking about: Kill Baby Kill, as well as the whip in the body. If you have not seen these movies, we highly recommend checking them out. But we'll get into talking about those. But Ian, have you had anything interesting going on this week or in a week and a half that we've not been recording?
Not necessarily, no, just back in school, trying to get back into the full swing of things with school. So that's been interesting to navigate. And football's been fun to watch, obviously, too. So that's basically all that's been going on. The last movie I went to see at the theater was The Long Walk, which I did enjoy quite a bit.
Nice, Stephen King. I've got to see that one. I've not checked it out yet. We may actually go this weekend. I think will be a good time to do that. I've been intrigued about it.
Probably going to go see The Strangers Part 2 this weekend.
That one's on my list. Have you seen him yet?
No.
Okay, me either. I'm kind of iffy on that one. That's a Jordan Peele. It's the football movie that is kind of in the horror realm. I may eventually check that one out, but that one's not going to be high priority in my book, anyways. But we'll definitely probably still check it out. But let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to get right into Mario Bava. We won't even pussyfoot around. We're going to get right into the nuts and bolts of this one. So what we're going to be looking at is 1963's The Whip in the Body and 1966 Kill Baby Kill. We'll do them in chronological order. So we're going to start with 1963's The Whip in the Body. And as I always like to do, I'll send it over to Lou Pagnelli. God, I love that name, bro. We're going to send it over to Ian and let him give us a plot synopsis.
Steeped in sadomasochism and lustly photographs in vivid hues for which the director is known, Mario Bava's The Whip in the Body is a gothic thriller that surpasses the API. I think it's supposed to be AIP, Edgar Allan Poe films that it was intended to emulate. Christopher Lee stars as Kurt Menliff, the sadistic son of a wealthy count who returns to the family castle, much to the dismay of his family, their servants, and the beautiful women with whom he shares a fondness for the lash, played by Dahlia Lavi. When Kurt is found murdered, it brings no peace to those who had feared him, as his vengeful spirit cannot be contained by the grave, and he returns to torment those unfortunate enough to remain within Menliff Manor.
Dum, dum, dum. First thing, Ian, what a cast. This is first time viewing for me. Have seen this one before?
No, I hadn't actually.
Nice. So both of us first time viewings. And man, I'm gonna tell you what, Kurt, played by Christopher Lee. I love Christopher Lee and his presence whenever he's on screen, and you know he steals the show anyways. But his cool character, man, he comes riding in on the horse and kind of, you know, people are looking at him like, "What are you doing here?" type situation. We know that maybe there was something in the past, Ian, because they don't necessarily, want him there. And we find out the brother, played by Tony Kendall, who's Christian, has married Christopher Lee's former or Kurt's former lover or whatever you want to call her, Navinka, played by Delia Lava. Very attractive. I love, love, love Navinka, man. What a character. So we got this whole scenario going on, the father and different things going. And yeah, so take it from there. And what did you think of the synopsis of it and the way it kind of played out in your viewership?
Well, early on, you've got a lot of different conflicts between people, and it seems like he his return almost brings some of this stuff back up. Like you've got Ida Gali's character who's also in love with Christian, and that is kind of brought up early on in the film. It's hinted at early on in the film and brought up even more later. You've got Harriet Medine's character who's like the servant, and she basically blames Kurt for the death of her daughter, whom he sort of seduced or whatever.
Mm.
So that obviously comes back when Kurt comes back. You've got Luciano Pagozzi, the great Luciano
Yeah.
Pagozzi, playing the servant with the limp, which I thought he was awesome in this movie. I love the
Same.
part when he finds I think it's Navenka out in the woods in one scene and like scares her, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just trying to keep an eye on Christian." um,
Yeah.
but early on, Kurt coming back just brings up all these conflicts. I love that scene with him and Harriet Medine when
Oh yeah.
he's like, like when he figures out immediately he like she wants him dead or she wants to kill him, and he's like, he's basically just like, you want to kill me, don't you? She's like, yeah. Like they make no bones about how much they don't like each other. It's a very fun scene. And then he got the stuff with his father where he wants to get his will back or whatever. But early on, I just love all the sets and everything too. Like basically you have like all these staircases and crypts and all these knights in armor and all that kind of stuff. You have all these hidden passages. You've got the chapel, which when you see the chapel from the outside, it's actually just a glass mat, which I think is really cool. It's one of the coolest glass mats I think that I've ever seen in a movie. And then you've got all those beachside locations, same filming location for $5 for an August Moon and Eric the Conqueror, actually, which we did watch a little while ago.
Heck yeah.
Some of those beachside locations are the same filming location for all three films. And then you've got this what I think he does so amazing in this film is the color blue. There's something about that color in this movie, that dark blue color,
Mhm.
that is just all over this movie in every scene. And normally Bava is really good with purple and green lighting, I would say, but in this movie he does the color blue a lot of justice, just with how he uses it all throughout the film.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I love what you're talking about with Luciano Pagozzi because I always think Peter Lorre when I see
Yeah,
him. And man, when he's on screen, he just really has such a aura about him, like Christopher Lee, that no matter what he's doing, I'm intrigued. I'm excited. I'm like, okay, what is he going to do? And he does have kind of that Hunchback of Notre Dame type, or maybe Igor or something type, element going on with him. But man, he's even a red herring in part of this. We think maybe something's up with him later on in the movie, but we find whatever we'll get on the way on that. But anyways, I do love his character. But I think Navinka in this one we find out really quickly where uh, at the beach scene we see Kurt go out there and he brings the whip out, right? And he starts just rips her shirt and starts just whipping the dog piss out of her on the back. And he's like, "You like it, you like it like this, And you see her face, and then you can tell, like, dude, she really does like this. Uh, she's very into this torture type thing. But yet she's like, no, I don't love you. And then she kisses her. Some of these weird scenes that just, but we see that affair. We know that there's some kind of past, and then Kurt ends up uh, being killed and then we go from there with these hauntings. I loved it. I thought the mood of this movie is so freaking good, Ian. The atmosphere. This is one of those gothic horror films, but I thought they used that blue you mentioned so perfectly. I think the wind noise that they used throughout this movie was, at first I thought it was going to be distracting, and it kind of was, but then it ended up blending into the movie perfectly because it's a castle. It's all these areas you would hear wind. And there's thunderstorms, there's all this stuff going on. So I actually felt like it actually helped it through the movie as it went on. I loved Ida Galley. I liked her character, how that we see that she does, have something for Christian, and Christian, has something for her as well as being married to Novinka. So there's all these things going on, man, that you would think it would be so sidetracking, but it's not. Like everything works in this movie to the T, but I love the moments where we start hearing the voice of Kurt in the background, and everybody thinks that Navinka's going crazy. And even I think it, and I'm thinking through this whole movie that this is all Navinka. Kurt's not real. He's dead. We saw his body. He's not there, but then we see some crazy happenings. And did you feel that through the movie that maybe this was a Kurt haunting, or maybe this was just Navinka being completely psycho?
Well, I started to believe it at a certain point that maybe there was more to it, just because when some other people can finally see the footprints, because she had made a reference to the footprints earlier in the movie, and
Hmm.
Christian's like, there are no footprints here, but eventually the footprints are seen. And I think even Ida Gali's character hints at it. She's like, "We don't know what happens after death." So, there's something to that idea of like this film might be trying to explore like what happens in the afterlife. What if he's somehow not a thing that can be passed on or whatever? Like if he's just stuck in a purgatory or whatever and haunting them
Hmm.
for whatever reason, that could be part of what's going on. But I do think at least early on, I definitely thought, yeah, this is probably all in Navenka's head.
Yeah. Yeah, same. And I thought they played that well because then, like you said, the reveal of the footsteps that eventually people start seeing and not just her. So, there's those moments. And then there's even the moment where maybe Kurt didn't die. Maybe he's not in the tomb. Maybe it's a different body. Maybe he's put the wool over our eyes and he's not dead. Maybe that's happened. I just really freaking enjoyed this one, man, so much. And I love that we got a strong story. I mean, it's like, dude, the story is actually really intriguing to listen and to watch on screen. So this is one of masterpieces of Mario Bava. Like, I really feel like this movie um, is a masterpiece. Like, dude, it is so freaking well told. Everything about it works. The musical score by Carlo Rusticelli and all this is so good. Like everything, I can't praise this movie enough, dude. I don't even want to talk other than just say that this movie's a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, and Rista Kelly, he does such a good job with the piano score for sure, and the organ and everything that this movie, the score was constantly used in other films like Blood and Black Lace and Kill Baby Kill. There were cues used in both of those movies from this, so
Hmm.
that just tells you how what the legacy of the score was. And yeah, I kind of agree with you where this movie, it's so visual that there's almost not that much to say about it, but it's still just so amazing visually, and the sets are so amazing, the colors are so amazing. Like that's the thing, is it's like it's just visually a masterpiece for sure, and the story that goes along with it is really interesting and really good. The actors are all good. The story is interesting. So you have all of that that's going for it, and there's really no flaws to it either.
Yeah, and the fact that Ubaldo Terzano has credit as cinematography, but reading up, Mario Bava filmed this. He was a photographer and a cinematographer, so he did most of the cinematography, if not all of this movie. Uh, and we know that the I was reading up, and you can read this on Wikipedia for yourself, but they tried to make this an Americanized film, right? So they wanted all these names to be American names. So you got for credit, I love this dude for the credit of writing. What was it? It was here it is. Okay, so you have Julian Barry, which was actually Ernesto Gastaldi, our great starred.
Yeah, and
Was it-
when I found out that he wrote this, because I actually didn't know that he wrote it until I was listening to the Tim Lucas commentary. I'm like, actually, it kind of makes sense, because
yeah,
there's definitely a giallo aspect to this movie with the whole like who killed well, I don't know if we should give it away, because it is fairly early on in the film, but I won't give it away, like what exactly happens. But basically, um with Kurt, the whole thing is like, well, who killed him, and then another character dies. So like what exactly happened there? Like who's doing this? And I think that is definitely something Gastaldi would write.
100%. But knowing Ernesto Gastaldi, and you know fully that a lot of this is his, and he even said it. You got Robert Hugo was actually Hugo Guerrera, and then Martin Hardy was Luciano Martino, which they said had very to none to do with this, but he's on credit. But this is Julian Barry, aka Ernesto Gastaldi, 100.
Sergio apparently was like a second, he was like the assistant to the assistant director or something like that. Sergio Martino.
Right.
Yeah,
Love that. I know you're a big fan of Sergio. I know you are.
of
And
course.
if you're a fan of Giallo and different things, you're a fan of Sergio. But to know that this whole group of Italian filmmakers like Mario Bava, and then of course Lamberto, and then you get into Sergio, and all these guys kind of intertwined together, and some of them worked together, some of them had their own. But man, what a golden age of cinema came through that little period of 8, 9, 10 years, right? Like from the early '60s all the way up into the late '70s, early '80s. Man, we had so many great filmmakers coming through making just some masterful films that we got. And wow, to have been in that era, man, I wish I would have been more into cinema like that when I was younger. And man, it would have probably redirected my whole lifestyle. But no, this one though, I'm telling you, man, this one just fucking works. It works from start to finish. It's not a very long movie. It's an hour and 31 minutes. I was shocked, and I gave Kurt passing away and whatever. That's very very early. But was that shocking to you as much as it was me? I did not see that coming.
Oh yeah, I definitely didn't because I had no idea exactly what the plot of this film was. So when that happens to Christopher Lee, I'm like, whoa, like
Yeah,
it's like one of those like wow, they just did that to Christopher Lee. It's very like it's almost like Psycho, just 3 years before with Janet Lee. It's like wow, when that happens,
yeah,
that's something. And
good
and Tim
call.
Lucas actually drew comparisons to Psycho with what happens at the end of the film with a certain character, like what 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 they are doing is very similar to Norman Bates, and what they're going through is very similar to what Norman Bates is going through in a way.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that. That's cool. So, how was Lucas's commentary? I've got to buy this movie. I'm totally going to have to buy this movie.
Yeah,
That was,
I got lucky. I found one on eBay for like 12 or 13 bucks. Yeah, someone was selling it for just that much. Lucas is always great because he'll point out every little thing about the cast members, and every scene he's got something to say. He actually talked about how this film, he did the math of like what it would have costed back then in US dollars, and he said it was shot for 66,000 US dollars back then, which is amazing. He said
yeah.
now, and but keep in mind he did this commentary in like 2002. It was actually a fairly old
Wow.
commentary.
Yeah.
um and he said that it would be like 900,000 something now, which would be, I don't know, maybe 1.5 million by now by today's money, but
Yeah.
still, that just tells you how much money that Bava was working with. It wasn't much.
That is crazy, dude. But I'm gonna be honest, like you can feel it in this movie. Like you can feel the set pieces, the different things going on. I'm sure Christopher Lee's not cheap, right? I'm feeling there's more like I could feel Christopher Lee's probably making a little bit of money, right? But did this one though, honestly, was this the one or was it the next one coming up that had the financial trouble? That was the next one. That was Kill Baby Kill. Yes. Okay. So Kill Baby Kill's the one that had the uh I get both of them mixed up. Yeah. So we'll get to that one in a minute where there was financial trouble in the filming and they kind of worked for free toward the end of the movie. But in this one right here, I feel like Christopher Lee, that was a shock moment, but it worked for this movie because I think it added a little bit of mystique to it. And where it goes, was really entertaining. And we'll get into, I'm sure, with Christopher Lee, his voice, when we get into the dubbing corner and everything. But how that he wanted to work with Mario again, they said, and unfortunately that didn't happen. And then there was some other stuff that took place with Mario. Uh, what a shame. I would love.
Christopher Lee has also talked about how like this is later in his life. He said, "I wish I could redub my own performance in this movie." After this movie was when he had the thing put into his contract where he had first refusal to dub his performances because it did hurt. It did hurt this movie and Hercules that it's not him dubbing his own voice. I do think Dan Sturkey actually does the best job he can. Like I think he's actually trying to emulate Christopher Lee's voice a little bit, and it works okay. but it's still not Christopher Lee. So
Exactly. You
yeah.
could tell it. I mean, it's like instantly, I know anybody that's seen Mini Christopher Lee, you know what he sounds like. And it's his voice as much as it is his face that people love. It's Christopher Lee's way of emoting stuff. And you know instantly when somebody's dubbing him, and you're like, oh, wow, but it works. It's manageable in this movie. It's nothing that will distract you 100%. But I would have loved to have his voice in here. What do you got on this one as far as the dubbing corner? Let's get into that for a minute.
So Susan Spafford is dubbing Ida Gali. That's all I have for that. Yeah.
Yeah, and what else had we seen her in? Because I know, what did you say we'd seen her in as well? I know I'd seen her in multiple movies.
Oh yeah. Like, well, Case of the Scorpion's Tail for
Mhm.
one. We just saw her in Hercules in the Haunted World. Um, let's see here. The Psychic, Footprints on the Moon, Bloodstained Butterfly, Knife of Ice, Murder Mansion.
And we're going to see her again really soon too.
Yeah, and
I
another
know.
movie. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I'm looking at that here.
Have
So
we
we
did
have
Syndicate Sadist yet? We haven't did that one, have we?
no, we could do that at some point if we ever want to cover some Tomas Milian Lenzi Eurocrime movies. There's one particular movie that I would love to cover from that set. Well, all of them really, but definitely one in particular, and I'm sure you know what that movie is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be a fun thing to do at some point. Is cover like the Milian Lenzi Eurocrime
Yeah.
films.
Which I've got sitting right there, the Violent Street one.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's one. There's one other one from that set. There's one other one that's not in that set called the Tough Ones that we could
Oh,
do as well.
yeah, I got
Yeah,
to get that one. Do I own that one? No.
it's a Grindhouse releasing release.
Yeah, I actually don't have that. I need to get that one. We'll
Probably
have to
still
do.
out there. Grindhouse Releasing tends to keep a lot of copies of their stuff, so I mean, it might be available through their website if nothing else.
Yeah, go to grindhousereleasing.com too. Go check out their site. I love them, man, and they get a lot of the Blue Underground releases and that. But that Beyond, man, I've got to get the Beyond eventually. I'm not 100% because I'm with you. I own it on a couple different sets, and the Blu-ray that they released a few years back is perfectly fine for me. But I kind of do want that. I do kind of want that Big Mac Daddy set. I mean, I'm stupid like that, but maybe one day, Ian. Maybe one day. So, what else you got on the whip and the body?
Well, so for our rankings, we already talked about Ida Gali
Hmm.
being an all-time great. For Harriet Medine, we've got who plays Georgia, the maid.
Yeah.
She was also in Blood and Black Lace and Black Sabbath, so she is a superstar for the show. Then I did want to check out Jox Herline, who plays the priest in the one scene. No, he's not in any other movies that we've done. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Luciana Pagozzi. So we've got Blood and Black Lace, All the Colors of the Dark, Case of the Bloody Iris, and The Last Hunter. So yeah, I think that makes him one, two, three, four, five. Yeah, that makes him an all-time great. It's Seven Deaths in the Cat's Eye, not to mention that one. So that does make him an all-time great already. And that's not even all. That is not even all the films we're gonna cover with him. I mean, there's still others: Hatchet for the Honeymoon and God Said to Cain, which we actually covered in God Said to Cain on the main show.
Yeah.
Yeah, at one point. Strike Commando, if we ever do that. Libido. Rome Armed to the Teeth, aka the Tough Ones, which we were just talking about. So yeah, Zombie 3, he's in that. So yeah, he's in a lot of stuff that we've still yet to cover. Is Luciana Pagozzi.
Nice. What about Tony Kendall?
The only thing, I don't think I recognize him from anything else. The only thing that might be a movie that we do is a movie called In the Eye of the Hurricane,
Okay.
which is it's a giallo movie starring Jean Sorel. It's not a bad one.
Hmm.
Certainly not great, but it's not a bad one. That might end up being something we do eventually. He was a model of sorts. I do like him in this movie actually as Christian. I think he's not like Christopher Lee's equal by any means, but he has like this. this way of thinking, oh, like he could challenge Christopher Lee in a way, like in as his brother or whatever, that I thought was kind of interesting. Like he has this energy to him that I did enjoy.
I agree, and I will eventually get to. I know it's in Spanish, but we also have the Return of the Blind Dead that we could actually do with him. He's in,
Oh yeah.
um, and maybe even the Big Bust Out. That'd be a woman's prison film. Maybe we can do that. Maybe. But anyways, we'll look into some stuff like that. But cool. All right, so there we go. We got a couple all time greats and a superstar in there. Love it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. What do you have? What else did Tim Lucas get into? Anything cool other than what we've talked about?
He did say so. Harriet Medine, he said he had something from her about how basically she had said that Bava took his time with actors. She had said that Christopher Lee was very formal and kind of aloof in a way, like he seemed like a very shy guy in some ways.
Yeah.
Um, Dahlia Lavi was 23 years old and a veteran of the Israeli army at the time of filming,
Oh
because
wow.
I think that country makes both men and women serve in the military for a year when they're like 18 or something. I don't know the exact age, but it's something like that. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I already talked about the locations. So, oh, apparently Christopher Lee's wife was very nervous about the scenes between him and Dahlia Lavi at the time,
I can
which,
understand.
yeah, I can understand that too.
I mean, hey, it's let's be honest, it's Christopher Lee, buddy, and Davia, she's an attractive girl. I like the location you mentioned that, but Tor Caldara and Lazio in Italy, man. I thought the set was as much as important as the acting, anything in this one. I thought the set was freaking phenomenal. And when you get into Gothic horror, if you've listened to us, I'm a big fan of The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave. That's one of my all-time favorite. I guess you call them
Yeah, same.
and then you get also the Red Queen kills 7 times. So those couple films right there when you get into Gothic horror. But I'm gonna tell you what, this one right here, Ian, holy crap, dude, it's freaking great, man. Uh,
Yeah.
oh,
And
God,
I would be remiss. So we have to mention too, like how this movie, I think we should mention how it deals with women's sexuality and women's
right.
kinks in a way, um, where she enjoys this sadomasochism. And it's not really even that overt in the film. It's only in a couple of scenes and it's represented with the whipping.
Mhm.
But I do wonder, like, this had to have been one of the first movies to deal with that subject. I mean, and look, like, in I can't speak for all women or anything like that, but there's a reason why something like 50 Shades of Grey is such a big seller as a book, so it
Yeah.
sometimes these stories have that kind of appeal.
Mm.
And I just thought it was interesting that this movie dealt with it, but not necessarily in a denigrating way by any
Oh,
means. At least I didn't think it was. I think she has a self. I think because of the time, she also has a self hatred of herself because of this stuff, because it wasn't an accepted thing at the time. Like I think in the movie, her hatred of Kurt is actually just as much a reflection on her
hmm.
hating herself for being into this sort of thing. Like she'll keep saying, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, but I really think she's saying, I hate myself because I'm into this, when
Yeah.
it's not a widely accepted thing for me to be into this, at least right now. Nowadays it's kind of a little more accepted, but
True.
back at that time, especially at the time the movie takes place, because I don't think it's supposed to take place in the 1960s. I think it's supposed to take place well before that. So
Yeah, I want to say it was like what was it, 1905, I think, it was vintage early 1900s, but I want to say it's 1907. It's
yeah.
1907 when Dr. Paul. Oh wait, no, that's Kill Bill. Never mind. I flipped on the wrong page. No. So this one was still the early 19th century Europe. I don't know if they give you an actual date. I don't think it's that, but it's early 19th century. Okay. The other movie we're going to be talking about is supposed to be 1907. We'll get into that one too, which has some weird kinks in it too. But overall, man, this is an absolute masterpiece, man. This is that chef kiss in the sky. This is that one that Mario Bava, bro. Thank you so much for giving us. Bob, let me stand up. Get my Bava up in there. Get my Bava. I got to get my Bava, dude. Bava knocked this one out of the park, bro. This is so freaking good, man. You ready for ratings on this one?
Yeah,
Let's pass around. What do you got for the whip in the body?
I think I'm going to give it a 10, honestly. I didn't, I just I think it really is one of his best movies in terms of atmosphere, and I just don't think that there's anything wrong with this movie, and I liked pretty much everything about it. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a 10 for me as well. If there was one little knock would be the fact that Christopher Lee did not do his own voice. That would be the only, and to me, it wasn't enough of a negative because I felt like the guy had done enough justice to be serviceable. It wasn't like, these goofy people sometimes they'll put in the voices, Bobby, these voices that are so freaking horrendous. No, it doesn't. It's not like that. So I've got to give it, man. It's a 10. It's a 10.
I actually think the voice of the kid in what is it? Absurd. The voice of the kid in Absurd is the most annoying voice, even more annoying
Oh,
than Bob in House by the Cemetery, or at least the character is more annoying.
this is true.
Uh, Yeah, because Bob in House by the Cemetery is not an annoying character. It's just
Uh,
the dubbing. Whereas the kid in Absurd is actually an annoying character. He's like more annoying than the kid from Trick or Treats. And then I remember not liking the dubbing for John in City of the Living Dead either, if I remember correctly.
true.
I
And
think
what
that's
was
another example of that.
was it Beyond the Door that had the kids in the car that were cussing,
I
drinking
think so.
drinking the beer can? Was that Beyond? I want to say it's Beyond the Door 74. But anyways, there's that one scene with the now that was an annoying kid too, but that's neither here or there. But anyways, dubbing in this one is actually really good. So
Yeah, for the most part, it is. Yeah, I'd agree.
yeah, so bang up, you can get it. These are available. Let's see, the Whip and the Body was on Tubi. It's also available on YouTube, I think,
Shutter.
and Shutter. Shutter is where I watched it. So they are available there. You can watch them, but I'm gonna say buy it. Ian, I was looking up real quick just a second ago on eBay, and I found a copy of the Whip and the Body for 12.96. I'm not going to order that one yet because I want to find one with a slip cover case. So this one doesn't have a slip case. So, but anyways, I may try to get that one. But anyways, so let's go ahead and head into our last feature review tonight, and that's going to be 1966, and it's Kill Baby Kill. What you got for a plot synopsis?
A Carpathian village is haunted by the murderous ghost of a little girl, prompting a coroner and a medical student to uncover her secrets while a witch attempts to protect the villagers. I just took that from IMDb. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Hey, that works for me. I would read off the back of this box, but I can't read that small right, and I'm gonna tell you, and it's super tiny. That's yeah, yeah, not this blind boy. But that's a good enough one there. Kill Baby Kill, man. Another gothic horror film, another atmospheric, moody film with a lot of fog machine stuff going on and a lot of just caves and just all kinds of cool outdoor.
Yeah.
This is great.
What's interesting is this movie, like right away you feel this is what I like to call a doomed movie, where you think the main character is just doomed right from the start, and it turns out not really to be that, which surprised me. But you think of movies like House of the Laughing Windows. I mean, the most famous example of a doomed movie to me is The Wicker Man, right? Where you just
Yeah.
know from the beginning, like this guy is screwed. There's nothing this guy can do. Another Christopher Lee movie would be City of the Dead. That's another doomed movie to me, where it's like, oh yeah, you know this person's done right from the start.
Mhm.
But this one has the makings of that, but yet it turns out not necessarily to be that way, which I kind of enjoyed actually.
Agree.
But the set design is so amazing. Like there's something about the tan colors in this and what he did with that color, but also like the green gel lighting. The green gel lighting is in a ton of the scenes as well. What he does with like the cobwebs and everything like that throughout the sets and the fog machines, as you said, he creates something that seems like it's out of kind of a nightmare, and not even just a nightmare, but more like just a bad dream where you're like,
Mhm.
when is this dream going to end, sort of thing. You're following something that doesn't feel right, and that's kind of what this movie feels like the whole time. And and where is Inspector Kruger? And, yeah, he mentions
Yeah.
Inspector Kruger so many times. It's
Oh my
really
God.
funny to me. Like I remember, like at one point they're looking outside. He's like, "It must be Inspector Kruger." Like he says his name with such dramatic,
Oh my
like
God.
with such a dramatic voice. It's great. But this movie is pretty freaky at times. Like
Yeah.
what the ghost of the little girl is making these people do to each other, and a lot of these people don't even seem to deserve it. That's the thing. Is like it seems like she is taking she is taking everybody into account in this town that didn't necessarily have something to do with what happened to her death, but it kind of makes sense when you find out what's going on, like why and
Yeah.
how she died. You're like, oh, okay, so everybody is on the table, everybody in this town is to blame for what happened, even if a lot of them are probably innocent from what really happened.
Yeah, exactly. And I do like the creepiness of the spirit, the ghost of Melissa. That whole scenario, man, was really good. And that was Valerio Valerie, which is actually a pseudonym, but it was a boy that played the character of Melissa.
Oh, was it really?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, they used a boy, and that was because Mario had tried to get all these girls, and nobody. The boy, this was who he ended up choosing, and the boy did not like doing this because he had to wear a dress and a wig and everything. But anyway, so he's playing. It's actually a male playing Melissa. Doesn't look like it in the movie necessarily. They did a good job, but there's a scene. There's a particular scene where Melissa has the window in her hands and her face, and all I could think of was Salem's Lot. It just totally, even though
Yeah,
maybe she wasn't hovering in the air like in Salem's Lot, but it's that whole window. It's kind of fogged up, and I just swear I just felt. I was like, God, it reminds me of Salem's Lot so much.
just a quick aside too. That scene in Salem's Lot is one of the scariest movie scenes ever. Even to this day, it's something about the reverse footage and the contact lenses and the music. Like the music is so amazing in that scene. I can remember the music every single time I think about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that scene is amazing, and you're right. It does echo a little bit of what happens with Melissa in this film. Um, Something else I like about this film too is like the whole battle between science and witchcraft in a way, and how witchcraft is not necessarily an evil thing in this movie.
Agree.
But there's this part where he talks to where the Dr. Esway is it talks
Mhm.
to Ruth, and he's like, how do you get these people to believe in sorcery and believe in you so easily? Like there's that whole thing with Nadine, the one village girl who she like does all this stuff to with witchcraft to try to protect her. Later on, Dr. Esway takes off this like big this like leech thing that they put on her,
Mhm.
and she ends up dying. And it's like one of those things where, well, would she have been safe if he had kept this on her? Who knows? I mean,
Possible.
it doesn't seem like that thing's doing too many other good things for her, but if it saved her from getting killed by Melissa, then who knows? Maybe that was better than what he had in mind.
That's right. Yeah, Giacomo Razzie Stewart plays Dr. Paul
Yeah.
Aswadi. I liked his character. I really did like his character. Erica Blanc. Love Erica Blanc, who, to my knowledge, I think is still acting, Ian, up to
Yeah.
2024, which was crazy. Like, let's see, yeah, her last acting role character or credit was Case Nere in 2024.
Wow.
She was born in 1942, so whatever that makes her, I don't see it on here, but yeah, she's still current. She's been in a ton of stuff, and she is really good in this as Monica. I thought she done a great job, which basically you have this coroner having to come into town because there's this mysterious death at the beginning of the movie. And they bring in this inspector to come in, and the inspector comes in, and Monica's character is also brought in as a witness. And we have this going on. You got the Burgermeister, played by Luciano
Yeah.
Canatazzi.
And that's how you know it's a gothic horror film whenever a Burgermeister shows up.
All I can think of is on what's the Christmas the animated the one with the town that knew whichever one that had little Santa Claus and they were trying to keep him from doing presents back in the day
It
because
was
they
like
had the
the year
burger.
without a Santa Claus or
Yeah, the
something
year
like
without a
that.
Santa Claus. They had the Burgermeister, right?
Yeah.
So anytime I hear the name Burgermeister, I just think of that. But I like the character. I like Luciano as the Burgermeister, and we see there's a little thing with a character. Fabienne Dali, who plays Ruth, is phenomenal in this one. The Baroness Graps, who's played by Giovanna Galletti, man, loved her. So many good characters in this movie, man. So well done. The scenes with the witchcraft type thing I thought works in this movie. And like you said, it's science against witchcraft and stuff, but it's done tastefully in both ways. So, like you said, it doesn't necessarily shine darkness on either one. It just kind of gives us its own entity, and I think that works in its favor. Just a lot of cast members in this one that actually work. So, I thought the reveal at the end of what happened, or what was the cause of all this, I thought was good. I was okay with that. I thought the story was good. And the fact that at the beginning of the movie, the first death, they find this silver coin in the heart, and what that ended up, we find out what that coin was and who put it there. And just everything works on this one. And just like the whip in the body, everything worked in this movie for me, man. I just had such a good time with it, bro.
Yeah, same. I mean, it really is to me like if someone asked me what is the best gothic horror film ever made,
Hmm.
this might be my answer. Like it just is everything the genre should exemplify in terms of story, in terms of atmosphere,
Hmm.
in terms of acting and like the legend they have about Melissa Grops and what happens at the end with Ruth facing off against the Baroness and everything like that. Like it just has everything you'd want from a gothic horror movie.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't take you up because you texted me. I had just started. I was only a few minutes in, and you had texted me about the Inspector Kruger. He said if you take a shot for every time they say Inspector Kruger, and I told Pearl after about 30 minutes in this movie, I said, dude, I would have passed out drunk, and I would have probably died in an alcohol-induced coma if I did that because Inspector Kruger is mentioned. It feels like a gazillion times. I don't know how
Yeah.
many, but it's a lot.
Yeah, it's just a funny little thing where he's like, "Where is Inspector Kruger? You have a message from Inspector Kruger. Inspector Kruger went to went to Villa Grops. Like it's just yeah, his name is mentioned all the
And the character going up the stairs. Where's Inspector Kruger? Inspector Kruger, Inspector Kruger. And you're like, good Lord, dude. Okay, we got it. His name's Kruger. We got you. Just call him Inspector, whatever. But no, every character in this, when I'm looking at the IMDb of all the characters, and I'm looking at every one of them, I love every one of them. Like, there's not one in here that I can say was like weak to me. Like, every character served their purpose. The younger girl that ended up at the beginning of the movie becoming kind of controlled, and we see where they're putting the chain around her and doing all these different sadistic things to her to keep the curse off of her. You know, maybe Melissa coming after her. Uh, I loved it. I just freaking loved it, man. And God bless, dude, this thing is creepy, really creepy at times, dude. Seriously creepy. The fog machine really helped this movie, man. I'm telling you, it felt very dark. It felt very, I don't know. And I think the musical score, which Ian, I think we had read online, and you've mentioned this of where they basically took music from other films. There was stock footage or stock music that they used in this one. So it was a lot of stock music put in, but it works. Like, dude, it totally works. Some of it from the whip and the body is in this one, which is fine. But dude, it works. It just fucking works, bro. God dang. And here's something else I wanted to mention about when we was talking about music as well. When you get into this movie, they ran out of money making this movie. They said very early on. It was two producers, and this was a one trick pony. Like, they had only produced this one movie, and it was FUI, believe it was, or FUL. The film is a small Italian company called FUL, which was producers Nando Pisano and Luciano Catanacci or Catanassi. They basically ran out of money, Ian. And this is very early into the movie. So the cast, like Mario Bava and a lot of the cast members, worked for free the rest of the movie just to finish this thing. Wow. So to know that what they had to deal with in this to get it done just makes this just another, great job, guys, for pulling it up and saying, "Hey, I don't care if I'm not going to get paid, Ian. I'm gonna finish this movie and we're going to do it." And I thought they done a tremendous job, bro.
Yeah, I agree.
Dubbing. You got anything dubbing on this one?
No, I think it was Louis Chinelli who did the supervision, but I did not recognize any of the voices here. I think I recognized the voice of the guy who dubbed Giacomo Rossi Stewart, but I don't have any names for this one, unfortunately.
Okay. It says the screenplay was credited to the writing team of Romano Migliorini and Roberto Natali, who had previously written Massimo Papillo and Francesco Morelli, The Bloody Pit of Horror and Terror Creatures from the Grave. The script's good. And they said they even, like Mario, a lot of this ended up being on set. Like, dude, they started like ad-libbing and just rolling with the punches in this movie. And I would have never thought it. Like, dude, it worked for me. I'm like, damn. Uh, Great job. Special effects is good. The set pieces is good. The music's good. There's not much negative to say in this movie at all, brother. Not very little. The only negative thing
Mm.
to give is this god dang release by freaking Scream Factory that had like zero features, bro. There's a TV spot on this thing. There was audio commentary I didn't get to. There's two audio commentaries I didn't get to, so I can't say there wasn't nothing. But other than that, it's zilch. So yeah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I wish I could have gotten the Kino Blu-ray of this because that would have had Tim Lucas's commentary on it, which would have been worth it for
Yeah.
sure. I never got around to it, and now it's one of those out of print ones, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um, I can do our rankings for this one
Let's
too.
do it. Yeah, let's definitely do that.
This makes Giacomo Rossi Stewart a Hall of Famer because he was
Woo!
in Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave, Crimes of the Black Cat, and Death Smiles on a Murderer.
Nice.
And if we ever do Knives of the Avenger, we'll see him in that. Um, Erica Blanc.
Mhm.
This, I believe, she is, I believe, an all-time great already. So, if not, then this definitely makes her one. I think this actually might be the one that makes her one because we have So Sweet, So Perverse, Body Puzzle, Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave, Big Guns, aka Tony Arizenta, which we did cover at one point,
Mhm.
and Kill Baby Kill. So yeah, that does it for her all time great Erica Blanc, which is awesome because I she is one of my favorites. I love Erica Blanc, and then Piero Lulli. I think we've only seen him in one other movie, which makes him an all star.
Mhm.
He plays Inspector Kruger in the one scene he's in this. He was in My Dear Killer. We'll end up doing more movies with him because he plays villains in a lot of spaghetti westerns.
Mhm.
So we might end up doing more movies with him at some point. Luciano Catenacci, yet another guy we're going to do more movies of because he's in a ton of Eurocrime movies. We saw him in Short Night of the Glass Dolls, so that makes him an all star. Then I wanted to see if there was, I don't think there was anybody else.
What about Giovanni Galati? Didn't we do the girl in room 2A?
Yes, we did. So that makes her an all star as well. Thank you for that one. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, I don't see anything else she was in, so sweet. Did you feel like they had her much older than I think she really was? Like I think a lot of
Probably.
makeup,
Yeah.
man. I felt like she was almost Fabienne Dali's character, Ruth. I felt like it was the same character, but it wasn't. But it's just kind of I kept looking at her like, is that her? Like, is she playing dual roles here? Like she just kind of looked
Oh,
like.
yeah. Like a Mia Goth type thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And she just kind of looked like her, and I'm like, she's clearly got makeup on. She's clearly got her hair frosted, but I don't know, man. I just fucking love this movie so freaking much. When I looked at this one, I was like, I watched this one. I believe I watched this one first, and then I watched The Whip and the Body Sacket, and I was like, dude. I was so excited about this one. I'm like, phenomenal. And then I watched The Whip and the Body. I'm like, holy crap, dude. Like, we picked two amazing films. And by, I guess, chance, I don't think, because you seen the Kill Baby Kill yet?
I had seen Kill Baby
Okay.
Kill a
So
few
you just,
times. Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, it was when I did a show on No Bodies, which you can check out. It would have been almost a year ago by now. They were ranking all of their basically their favorite horror movies for every letter, and this was my selection for K. I was on the letters G through L, I think, and this was my selection for K.
Heck yeah, I would have to go through. Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
there weren't that many for
Yeah,
K, actually. There
yeah,
weren't that
zero.
many for that letter.
Uh, Knife. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would have to probably go. I would definitely go with this one now. Though these are both first time viewings for me, man. And they both knocked me out, man. They were just freaking phenomenal. Um, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. What else you want to say on this one? What else you got to go on?
Um, I think I've said about everything I wanted to say. I mean, it's just an outstanding gothic horror film. Really, there's not much else to it other than that. In terms of, we talked about the story, we talked about the actors, and we talked about the legend that the movie comes up with and everything, and the visuals. Well, actually, I did want to say one thing. There is this movie features one of my all-time favorite shots, and it's a shot where a spiral staircase just starts spinning like crazy, and
Yeah.
it actually physically makes you dizzy just watching it. And I can't think of too many other movies where that happens. Like, I can't think of too many other movies that have made me dizzy just watching them, and that is one scene that actually did it for me.
Wow, that's awesome. I know which scene you're talking about too. According to IMDb, according to a 1985 Bava retrospective written by Tim Lucas himself for Fango, issue number 43, Kill Baby Kill, he was convinced in a part as a bet with American distributors that Bava could complete a film in 12 days. The 30-page script was pinned on the spot, so this was a bet that he could do this and get it released, and bam, there you go. Boom. And let's see, some of Blood and Black Lace music from Blood and Black Lace is used in this one as well. Once again, I have no problem with that, man.
No,
Have
I don't either.
I don't. Oh, and there was a killing utensil in this one. One of them, which is the hooked blade. We see the
Yeah,
one individual cut his neck. That was also reused, if you remember, in A Bay of Blood.
yeah,
That same killing thing, and I thought that was cool in this movie. I thought the couple of kills were good. Blade in the neck was pretty
yeah.
awesome.
The candelabra one was, yeah,
Uh,
that was a big one. Yeah.
yes, I loved it, dude. So some really good kills in this one. Gothic feel great. So I guess without further ado, let's go to our ratings on it already.
All
Uh,
right.
I'm gonna come in with a 10, 110 on this one. What are you coming on this one?
Yeah, I'm also giving it a 10. So there we
Yeah.
go.
Both these movies tens, dude. You cannot go wrong. If you've not seen any of them, I promise you, you will love these movies, especially if you like the gothic feel or the 19th century-ish type films and that. This one definitely crushed it. I would put this in there in Night Evelyn came out of the grave, those movies, and put them all together and say, have you a good night of watching some good gothic horror.
Yeah.
Man, you can't go wrong. So I think, Ian, what we'll do, we got one phone call we got to get to here. Let's go ahead and get to the phone call and then we'll come back. Let's see what we got here.
Hey, fellows, it's Luke Irza calling in with some observations about Kill Baby Kill. So I had the privilege of watching it with Ian, and it was pretty spectacular being able to do that. So one of the first things I noticed, I suppose, I like the cinematography of it. In the 60s or whenever it was made, maybe 70s, I like that genre, spaghetti western kind of thing, or I enjoyed the cinematography of it. And in a way, it reminded me of some early Sherlock Holmes movies with Basil Rathbone, excuse me. Um, specifically, The Hound of the Baskervilles, especially with like the smoke, well, not smoke, but the fog, and the kind of eerie lighting kind of a thing. But I really enjoyed that movie. It wasn't exactly a who done it kind of thing. There was a little bit of witchcraft involved, I suppose, or something. But overall, a spectacular movie. I'm glad you guys introduced me to it. And please, I enjoy it all, and I can't wait to see what movies you guys have for the next go round. Thanks, boys.
Nice. and the fact that he got to watch it with you, Ian, is awesome.
Yeah, yeah, he visited last week for a few days, and yeah, this was one of the ones he watched. We did watch part of the whip in the body as well. He was doing stuff throughout it, but he ended up watching the last like half hour or so with me, and he thought it was interesting. So yeah, it was fun to watch both of these with him.
Yeah, these movies, man, are so good. When you look at Mario Bava too, I think we'll do this real quick. 1960 being his directorial debut, Black Sunday, with the Hercules in the World, Eric the Conqueror next, and then we had The Girl Who Knew Too Much, Black Sabbath, The Whip in the Body, Blood and Black Lace, The Road to Fort Alamo. I've not seen. Planet of the Vampires we done, Knives of the Avenger, Kill Baby Kill. So, and then you start getting into the 70s with the $5 for an August moon, Hatchet for the honeymoon, which we'll absolutely do on here eventually. So there's some really good ones coming up with him. I'm sure we'll get to Baron Blood, Lisa and the Devil, some of those as well. But man, we've got some cool things coming up, and those are actually, yeah, those are 72, 74. So I know we'll get to those eventually. So just stay tuned in the future for those, some more Mario Bava to come, because he was such a prolific filmmaker, man, not just directorial, but cinematography wise as well, Ian. So I think without further ado, let's talk about what's going to be on the next episode, Ian.
All right, so we're starting Forgotten Gialli, Volume 4. Yes.
Dude, look how beautiful that set is. Fuck yes. 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 I'm telling you, Forgotten Jolly, dude, I love these box sets, Ian. I love these boxes. All right, so which two are we going to cover?
So we're gonna do Arabella Black Angel and The Killer Is Still Among Us.
All right. So Arabella, I have actually seen before. That'll be another viewing. That is a
I
very,
have not.
I will tell you, that is a very, a very sexy movie. We'll just say that. So we'll watch that one, and then The Killer Is Still Among Us, right there. The Killer Is Still Among Us. So we'll be covering those two, and then we'll get to the third one as another episode. So we're going to cover the first two. So The Killer Is Still Among Us and Arabella Black Angel will be the two movies coming up on the next episode of the Black Glove Mysteries. So cannot wait to get into that. Once again, I got to get, well, let me get this right. There we go. There we go. Oh, wait. No, I did it wrong. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Vinegar Syndrome, thank you for these box sets, dude. I'm telling you. I'm almost now, Ian, like you have some of these too, and unfortunately because they sell out, but like volume 1, 2, and 3, we have, or at least I have the single disc. And then I got 4, 5, 6, and 8 in these boxes. I want them all in the boxes now, dude. I said I didn't, but I swear I do now. It looks so good on the shelf, and I'm such a dumbass. But anyways, we'll get into those, man, for sure. So I hope you have enjoyed the show for sure. I've had a blast, Ian. I hope that if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, I would really absolutely love if you would subscribe to the channel. It would mean everything to Ian and I. And if you comment, head over and just comment down below. Have you seen any of these movies? What'd you think of these movies? Let us know, and we would love to hear from you. And if you're listening to this on audio podcast platform, we hope that you'll put that little button up there that says what is it, like download or whatever. Like whenever an episode drops, you'll know exactly when it drops. Do that if you're new to the channel. We'd love it. So with Ian Lou Pagnelli,
Pagnali.
Lou Panali, Irza, and Gregor Morris. What you got in closing, my friend?
You can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram at Urzanomics. You can add me on Facebook or Letterboxes by typing in my name. I haven't been as active on social media lately just because I've been a little busy with some other stuff, but I'm always around. So yeah.
He is definitely around, and he is always watching movies and stuff, and I love that. And I want to give you, from me, Ian, congratulations on being back in school, man. And
Thank you.
I'm hoping everything works out with you, dude. I know it's a chore working a full-time job and doing schooling. I get it. So good luck with that, buddy. And man, I'm pulling for you, and I know you'll do great. For me, you can follow us at Facebook, Instagram, X, all them spots, right here on the YouTube channel. And over on the podcast platforms. Go to landthecreeps.blogspot.com. Click the show notes. You'll see all of the links that you need to know about, and you can click on them and follow us. And also the store button over on the far right side of the toolbar. Click that store, go in and get you some Black Glove Mysteries swag or some LOTC swag like shirts and buttons and stickers and all that good stuff. Every little dollar helps, go to the show and everything. So we'd appreciate that. So with that said, we're going to get out of here. We're going to try to go watch some more movies and that. So Ian, as we always like to say,
Get your jolly on.
and we'll see you on the flip side. Peace.